Look, it's my biggest fan. Hey, hope everyone is doing excellent today. I wanted to come at you in this video from a little bit of a different standpoint. I recently posted on my Instagram and I said, hey, if you have any videos that you want to, I guess, be submitted, because apparently we do that now, to kind of see if it's a good idea I think I would like to put on the channel, let me know. Now's your chance to put it in and I'll make sure to see it. I got a question saying what to do after your first sale. This is building off of that. I want to talk about how to go from 3 sales to 30 a day. And it's similar to most videos, that we talk about on the channel when I say, even one of my more recent ones, like 63,000 in a week. It's very hard to understand this. I didn't quite get this in the beginning, but the number is actually completely irrelevant. So in this specific video, I want to talk about 3 sales total versus 30 sales a day, okay? So these numbers could be applied to anything. So if you have, let's say you've been running a product, this would be a Shopify drop shipping product normally, but it could technically be anything you wanted. So if you're selling a product, and let's say you've been doing it for 3 weeks, and out of those 3 weeks, you're at 20 sales, 25 sales. Maybe you've lost money, you're doing Facebook ads or influencers. The biggest thing, and this is why I want to point this out, I'm just going to jump right into it. The biggest thing you have to notice out of, even if you're at a loss, but you've been doing it for a slightly shorter window, if you have 20 sales, 40 sales, or 60 sales, nobody really gets that on a very bad product that doesn't have winning potential, okay? So if you're constantly running a product and dumping money in, and it's getting you absolutely 0 sales back, that's a good indication that it's either one of the macros, which is either the product is terrible or you don't know the marketing. So it's usually one or the other. So if you're confident in your marketing skills, which you should be, otherwise you should not be running ads, then what you should be doing at that point there is looking at the product. And if it's not getting sales within a couple weeks, well, you know that that's where it's at fault. It takes me about a week and a half to spot a product that's not really gonna work. So I wanna talk about this 3 to 30 a day, because there's a lot of things that happen at roughly 30 sales a day for me, okay? 30 sales a day for me on a product that I know is something that's not seasonal, it's not based around a specific holiday. That's when I will start talking to suppliers about potentially being able to get faster shipping and being able to brand it. Roughly 30 sales a day. It's not like, oh, I have my first 30 sale day, let me do this. Roughly 30 sales a day, because that's 1,000 orders a month, give or take. That's also when you have leverage, okay? And what do I mean by this? If you're getting, I'll just use an example here for you. If in a 1 month time frame, you have 971 orders. This is just an example I wanted to use. Okay, a $21 average order value here. This is from December. If you have 921 orders, about 30 a day. I think it's slightly more. What happens there is now you can go straight to the source. You can go straight to the source of where you're getting your product from and negotiate, because you have leverage. And this is what a lot of people don't do. And when you have 30 sales a day and you're spending, $4 a product, you do the math. You're spending a little bit of money with them. So you're a multi 4-figure a month person, about to be 5, eventually once you continue scaling with this supplier. So they want to keep you, right? Very simply, they want to keep you. They're running a business as well. So that's something why I picked that 30 number roughly, going from 3 total. It's the principle here again, not the numbers. 3 orders. It depends on the time frame. If you've been trying to run Facebook ads for 6 months and you have 3 orders, that might not exactly be the best example. You should switch your product and just start doing other stuff for marketing and learn somewhere else. Now, if you've been running your product for a week on Facebook ads and you have 3 sales, that's a good indicating factor. It's not a lot of sales. It's a good indicating factor that something is starting to click, that something is starting to work. So what happens, and I'm gonna do my best to give you this example, and I'm gonna move my hand a lot to give you a little bit of a visual aid. If you have a bunch of different ad sets, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you've been running all of these ad sets, okay, inside of your Facebook ads manager. So this is Facebook ads. We have other Facebook videos on the channel for those of you who don't really know what it is, but stick with me. So you're running your campaign. You have a bunch of different ad sets where maybe you're testing different targeting. It's all for the same product, it's all for the same ad. It's just running to different types of people. You want to see who's engaging with it. If you've been running it for a week and you have 3 sales, it's not the best, it's not the worst. You might have a fresh ad account where you have no sales. It's only been those 3 sales. So you might not even be optimizing for purchase. Maybe you are, it's totally fine. I'm not here to debate the strategy specifically. So what's gonna happen there is you need to start picking out of those ad sets. You need to break it down. You'll be able to see where the sales are coming from, but you're gonna wanna kill off the ones that are not making sales. So whenever I'm running stuff, there's what's called a breakdown period. So with Facebook ads specifically, unfortunately, it's not like an Instagram influencer shout out where I post it and 3 hours later I know if it's working or not. I can determine the future success of it. For Facebook ads, you're gonna have to wait. And that waiting time looks like about 3 to 4 days. Yes, it depends on your strategy. Yes, it depends on the budget, exactly what type of ad you're running. I consider a breakdown period 3 full days of ads running. So what happens, you launch, let's say again for the example, these 7 different ad sets. Let's say you got 3 sales. One of the ad sets had 2 of the sales and another one had just 1. You're gonna go ahead and kill the other 5. Now you're only left with 2. You just chopped down your daily spending, your ad spend, okay, where it was spending money in categories that did not bring any results. You're now gonna go ahead and you're gonna break down these specific ad sets. So here's the interesting thing. If you have an ad set and you're kind of just getting the ball rolling, if you have one that gets 2, if you have an ad set that got 2 sales, not 1, 1 can be considered a lucky sale. I never really like to make a decision based on 1. So with that one that got 2, whether it's profitable or not, maybe you spent $20 to make back 10, maybe you spent 80 to make back 70, maybe you made a little bit of profit, but after your product cost overall it wasn't, or maybe it was fully profitable. What you're gonna do, you're gonna break down your ad set. Let me actually, I don't know if I have a Facebook Ads Manager open for easy access. No. Anyways, okay, you're gonna go ahead and hit the breakdown tab. We have plenty of videos, there's other videos I'm sure on YouTube breaking it down. So what you can do with that is now you wanna look at that ad set and you wanna see categorically in multiple categories, were those 2 sales from, maybe if you're running all ages, all genders, maybe was it from both male or was it one of each? Because that'd be a very big difference on what you do next. Was it all, let's say it was all from female. Was it in both 18 to 24 or was it in 18 to 24 and a 65 plus? Were they very different categories? Were they one category and then the next up, so you know it's younger people versus older people, or were they both from the same category? Now you can flip your breakdown to looking at placement and device. So if you're running it, which you usually should, to a little bit broader right away, you know, Facebook and Instagram. Was it both from Instagram? Was it both from Facebook? This is gonna affect what you're breaking down. So if I see an ad set, and this is how I start doing this, so I go from those 3 sales to 30 a day. It's a process, it might take a few weeks or a month. I'm gonna go ahead, and this is the very initial stage, and you should do this when you get 1 sale. You can go ahead and look, and you should always be looking at the amount spent column, okay? Look at the amount spent on all the different, not just the ad sets, all of the different pieces, the little subcategories inside of an ad set, okay? The reason that you do this is because you wanna see if there's a high amount of money being spent in these categories that actually did not make you any money. So what happens very frequently, sometimes Facebook doesn't do this, Facebook naturally tries to optimize towards what they think is best. And for those of you who run Facebook ads, you know why I put this, okay? Facebook's full of whatever you want to call it, dog crap. They're full of suggestions and good ideas, right? It's like the Wolf of Wall Street thing. You know, your client gets some money, and no, you don't let them run home to the bank. No, you have another opportunity, another brilliant idea, another stock. So they roll their money over, and on paper they think they're getting rich, but in reality, the broker's taking home commission. So what happens with Facebook, it's not like they're trying to get you to reinvest. Facebook is always making smart ass suggestions and doing little things where when you know Facebook ads, you can point it out all the time. I do coaching with a couple people every month one-on-one, and the stuff that I point out to them that Facebook tries to do always blows their mind. And it's because they automatically select things. Even when you have something not selected and you try to duplicate an ad, it will try to reselect things that are just there to screw you over. It's there to get you to spend more money. So you have to be aware of that. Again, marketing is one macro, products are the other. Okay, so focusing on those 2 macros, you gotta know it. But what you do, Facebook will try to optimize, again, back on point here, try to optimize where they think the results are gonna be best, okay? So if you have $30 spent on an ad set, and you know, let's say that the purchases were from one category. Let's say $20 was spent in that one category where both those sales came from. But then $10 was spread out like 8, 1, and 1, you know, like, so it's in other categories where it spent a decent amount of money, a third of the money, but got no results. Okay, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but what's happening, you gotta consider it like this. Your cost per purchase now, because you got 2 at $30 total, is not $15 a purchase. It's actually 10. That's a big jump. That's a 33% jump in your cost per purchase. So what you do is if you look at that just from an age standpoint, and then let's say you were looking at placement and device, and they were both from Instagram. not Facebook, but Facebook spent a little bit of money trying to target maybe older people. So you can see that in the age. If the older people spent money and Facebook spent money, well, what you would do now, you'd make a duplicate of this ad set. You would duplicate directly off the ad set. You wouldn't make it from scratch. Duplicate off of that. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna try an ad set where everything's the same, except you're just gonna narrow it a little bit. This is our funneling process, okay? And there's a lot that goes into it, but very simply, duplicate this ad set, and what you're gonna do, you're gonna run it for that specific age category, and you're gonna switch it to just Instagram, okay? Considering, let's say, you know, theoretically, if both those sales came from just one ad set, or excuse me, from just one age group in there. So maybe they both came from 18 to 24, and it was all on Instagram. So now you're gonna narrow it down to that. Your audience is gonna drop, yes. So look at your audience. If it was small to begin with, it might be too small to run it, okay? You don't wanna run something that's like 20,000 or 13,000. You know, if it's like 75, 80, 100, like 150, you can run that. You're not gonna be able to scale inside of there, but it might make sense if you can narrow towards that and at least get a couple purchases. It's gonna help build some pixel data. You can still run that among other things, okay? You wanna make sure you're still running other stuff as well, okay? So, what you do from this point, now, you know, theoretically, that's how you do it if you have two. Now, if it's spread out or if you have an ad set that only got one, what you do is you go ahead and you try to look at the breakdown. So you do age and gender and you do placement and device. Those are the primary two I look at. Now, whichever one of those, and this is very key, I've never mentioned this on YouTube, whichever one of those categories had the most money spent in a column that did not bring results, okay? Let me give you an example. If the ad set spent $30 and made one sale, if you're running Instagram and Facebook, let's say Instagram spent $15 and it had the one sale, Facebook spent $15 but no sale, and then you have an age and gender where the age, let's say that the age category, it got the sale and spent 25 of it and the other ones only spent 5 total, well then you need to go ahead and you need to do a duplicate off of that, narrowed for the placement and device. Because what happens, you're gonna wanna switch it to just Instagram or to just Facebook, wherever the results were, because that was a bigger amount of money spent in a category that did not get results. So now you narrow towards the one that did. Again, it's gonna drop your cost per purchase. So the same can be said for add to cart, if you're doing initiate checkouts, anything like that. So you test towards what's working. So in reality, going from 3 sales a day to 30 sales a day doesn't actually require that much scaling, okay? It doesn't need vertical scaling. You can scale outwards. If you just have a bunch of different ad sets and a bunch of duplicates running, you know, $10 a day, $20 a day, depending on the price of your products, you can very quickly hit 30 sales a day without really being scaled. You know, it depends on the price of your product, of course, and there's other things that go into it, but that's what you're gonna wanna look at. It's more so gonna be cutting out what is spending money and not getting results, because then when you're spending more of that money focused on what was getting results, you will get more results. It's as simple as that. So there's a lot of other things that go into it. Sure, I'm gonna start doing a couple of series, like breakdowns on Facebook, you know, part 1, part 2, where I go through some examples or whatnot. I've actually been waiting for my desk setup to arrive and my lighting here at the office so I can have a regular base back like you guys remember from probably a couple months ago. I've just been traveling, but I wanted to jump on here. I wanted to break that down for you. Feel free to re-watch this actually as you're going through your ads manager. I feel like I did a pretty good job breaking that down, what buttons to click, what to look at. If not, there's other Facebook tutorials we have here on the channel you can reference in relation to what I mentioned in this video. So, if you guys enjoyed this one, make sure to drop a like down below. I appreciate the support. That's all you gotta do. Just let me know you liked it. Let me know you want more Facebook content. And let me know in the comments if you wanna see a series and what you would like to see it on specifically. Okay, let me know again in the comments down below. Maybe we'll start doing some live streams on the channel or something. That could be a cool idea. Other than that, Teddy, Freddy the Teddy here. It's very late, I'm a little bit tired, but Freddy the Teddy would love it if you went ahead and hit subscribe, okay? Subscribe. All right, we would appreciate it, you guys. The channel's been growing very nicely. Again, I do appreciate that. I don't know what else to say. We're past like 115, 116, maybe 117,000 subscribers. That's not necessarily what matters. What matters is the people who tune in on a daily basis, or at least on a weekly basis, to get some sort of specific thing that they can benefit. I'm here to benefit you guys. This is one of my really fun ways of giving back that I greatly enjoy. So let me know how I can better do that in the comments section down below, and I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow in the next video. Peace.